happening, you should now be seeing me again, probably on a new link. I'm just going to wait for it to sort itself out so I can deliver that to all of you. I'm really, really sorry about this. It obviously is not ideal. I can see that we are now live again though, so you should be seeing this. It's obviously super, super frustrating and disheartening, but people are now spamming the link in chat in the old YouTube chat, which is really good. Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, it's something I'm going to have to look into and see what we can do to fix. It's mega, mega, mega frustrating for me, as I imagine it is for all of you. I don't know why this is happening. It's never happened before, never happened in any of our tech demos until the last 2 days. So we'll fix it as soon as we can. That's what I will promise you. So, James,
yes.
While you are just publishing, I believe,
yes.
some tweets and stuff over there.
We're about to publish, yes.
We are about to look, in a moment, while I just quickly sort out some things on here, we're about to look at what we have seen from the final set of rehearsal clips. And it would be great to know from your side who you have been impressed by, firstly, of all the rehearsals.
Yeah, I've mentioned a couple when we were doing the voting sequence. Croatia, I think we're very good. Romania, we're very good. That's a winner. I just realised we're not doing the model anymore. I can be me again.
Yes. So John Model is gone. James Stephenson returns. There we go. And so the jacket will be hoisted off into the distance again. And so here we are. We can have all of the things on screen here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to start by going through all of the clips from that we have not yet looked at all on this stream, of which there is a few. We're going to start from Australia, and we're going to go through Australia, Ukraine, Albania, Malta, Norway, and then the Big Four plus Austria. I still hate saying Big Four.
I still find it odd.
Horrible.
I still find it odd.
It makes me feel gross, to be honest. And we will go through them, say what we think, and then we will go through over the entire thing all together. Apparently, the chat is not refreshing, so I'm going to press refresh. And in theory, it'll disappear and then start reappearing. Canabai, thank you so much for the 20 Norwegian krona. Yeah, I am really sorry about these things. It's not something we've ever had before. It didn't happen last year. I have a couple of plans though, so I'm going to try something. I have to go to MediaMarkt tomorrow. Anyway, Australia. So we're going to watch this clip with no sound. That's sound. And we are going to see what we think. So my first and most immediate instinct from this, James, was they're giving nothing away. They are giving us absolutely nothing away. This tells us so little about what we're going to see in this performance, beyond, their little moon there. We presume they're hiding something, right?
I would think so, right? This is the first chorus, I believe, that they're doing in the clip, which is good. The first big, strong look at me moment. I mean, the thing I notice, first and foremost, camera connection is clearly the goal in this clip. It's, look at Delta Goodrem. She is an international superstar. You are going to see the difference in experience and the difference in class. That's what Australia will be hoping for. Not to bring up the fact that we have a Croatia documentary out tomorrow, but I spoke to people within that team about how they picked their social clips, because at Dora they do the same thing, about the strategy behind it. And their whole thing was, you never want to give away your strongest card.
By the way, hi Aiden. Aiden's in chat. Hi
Aiden.
Continue.
Yes, you never want to give away your strong hand. So I don't think we're seeing the strong hand. What Australia want to show here is Delta Goodrem as a superstar. And in fairness, the way they've shot her, with the backlight and the absolutely impeccable hair and makeup, I must say, she looks sensational in this. And if they are not playing their strong hand just yet, it'll be a strong hand when they play it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's clearly... We've talked in the past about a type of staging that I call the aura farming staging. And this is essentially... thank you so much, Andy Hartley, for that. Super chat. I really appreciate it. And the aura farming staging is where you're very much essentially a large part of the draw is the charisma of the performer in such a way to be, to sort of make you you should be in awe of them, essentially, right? I feel like that's what they're going for, because when you're Delta Goodrem, what you want to deliver is a kind of tour de force of stage charisma and of vocals. If they deliver on that, I do still think there is a route through which this could win. It would require a significant overperformance from the televote.
It would need to be an overperformance. I think it just depends on what they're hiding, but if you're going off of the ability of the performer to deliver in terms of who you can trust, you have to admit that Delta Goodrem is probably top of that list.
For sure.
I mean, and obviously, like, there are a lot of people around Europe who won't know who Delta Goodrem is, so that's not necessarily going to play too much to the vote. But when you see her, I think you see someone who is really accomplished. You know she is going to deliver. I mean, she did an embassy thing on Friday and she sounded impeccable. I think she was in second gear.
It was crazy the way she can basically come in at a much more casual environment and still just deliver on such a high level. It's a really special ability that not many people have, but it genuinely, it's really spellbinding when you see it in person. And I'm really excited for everyone to see this live, because I think it will make a massive impact on how people feel about it.
Also, Dan Shipton was doing the staging on this one. He also did Bella. So, Aidan, if you're still watching, I do hope that he saved the best for you. Well, I guess we'll find out in a few days, won't we?
We will see. I mean, we are going to look at his clip soon. So, we are going to move on from Australia to Ukraine, which is Cynthia's favourite. And she's currently looking very pleased. So let's not break her heart. First good thing, they threw out Vidbir completely.
Yes, as has been done. Although actually, the person who did Zieferblatt's Vidbir staging is doing this. So weirdly, there's a bit of Vidbir in this.
But in general, I have to say, there's something about her presence on stage, and people are, by the way, just... there's some breaking news which we'll come to in a moment.
Okay, I'm interested to hear what that is.
Yeah, and it's going to be, we're going to do jury clips out, we're going to do the clips out of order.
Okay.
Firstly, on this, I find her a lot more of a compelling narrator for this, with this stage outfit, and with this camera work, and with this staging than I did at Vidbir. I think it very much, because Leleka means stalk, right? And for me, the sort of the little sort of black flashes and stuff, like on her fingers and so on, the sort of shreds that are coming off of her clothes, very much, I think, embody, for me, and maybe I'm extrapolating too much from this, that on one hand, she is don't tell me it's lagging again. It is lagging. We will wait and just see if it stops. This is so fucking annoying.
Check what the news is.
Jonas Love has been told his stage show is too sexy. Yeah. I don't have a fix for this that we can make, by the way, right now. All we can do is just hope it starts working again. I'm fucked off beyond belief. I've closed like every other app on my phone. There is no reason for this to be happening. The connection is showing fine. The Wi-Fi is connected fine.
It's not lagging.
Is it not lagging?
Is it not?
So they're just all hearing me bitching about all of this?
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
Welcome to Behind ESC Gabe.
Thomas in Orange has a question. What would the minimum score for us to be worried about winning? Just over 100 seems to be the watermark.
150.
150. Continue with this stream. I really, really, really want to continue with this stream. If that has broken the link, which I think it might have done, then I'm afraid it's going to be that for this evening. Let me see if it's worked, but if it has broken the link again, I'm afraid I'm just going to have to let it go. We're back. Okay. We are back. This is the last time we're doing this. I'm afraid if it crashes again, I really hate to do this, but it's just not fair on all of you guys to sit and watch something that isn't of a quality that I feel is sufficient. And this many interruptions for me is not sufficient quality. So apologies. Let's continue. We have... we're preparing a backup option as well, which we may be able to kind of install. Thanks. Just, yeah, cheers.
By the way, Gabe, chat is saying that they really don't mind.
Thanks. I got it. Thanks, honey. Right, so... Where were we, James?
There is like, I think someone said it in the chat, there's a really unique energy to British people when they're mad. To you specifically, it's even more like there is such a bubbling, like it's kind of like fun energy, but I feel like at any moment I could be killed.
Oh, really? Well, I'm not going to kill you yet because I need to sort of bash more models out of you like a piñata first. So you're safe for this week.
What
at
image
least.
that is.
Yeah, but you're safe for this week. After that, I'm not so sure. Yeah, so iPhone 13s are bad personal hotspots. This is what we're learning today. This thing is a piece of junk. Gosh, I'm red because I feel I have a very, very high expectation for myself in terms of quality. One of the most basic things I think I should be able to guarantee to you is a stream that works and an experience that is flawless. It's not a matter. Someone's mentioning quality. It's not a matter of the quality of the stream because this is like an on-off thing. Like it works fine, then it goes to 0, and I see it go to 0, and then it pops back again. So...
We're doing our best, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Please
Andy
bear
Tandy,
with.
Andy Tandy, thanks so much for the 100 Czech crowns. And I just want to say thank you again to Cole for the $49.99 Great British Pounds. It is honestly, thank you so much. It really, really means a lot. New merch idea, Pinata James, says someone.
I mean, if I end up on merch, that will be a scary moment for the world.
Yeah,
won't it?
John Model.
People can wear John Model.
I think they'd want a John Model Pinata more than anything else. So, before we move on, any more thoughts on Ukraine?
I mean, we'll keep it brief because you said it, but what I will say, that is a hell of a fucking shot. The one that's on there where it pulls in. That's gorgeous with like the fabric coming down. There's such drama. There's such class to it. I think you can always rely on Ukraine to have a really classy staging. Mm-hmm. They know what they're doing. They're pros at Eurovision by now.
Mm-hmm. And it looks gorgeous. I'm really, really impressed by it. I find it like it really has made an impression on me. Let's go to Out of Order. And there's a reason I'm doing this. It has just broken in the Norwegian newspapers. Jonas Love has been told by the EBU that his stage show is too sexy and he has to change his choreo. What on earth is he doing up there? Any thoughts?
I mean, I'm watching this now with that in mind. What is too sexy in this clip? Now I will say, you remember last year where Erika Vickman got pulled up for this?
Yes.
And the choreo had to be changed. I think it's quite refreshing that it isn't the same narrative of woman is pulled up for being too over-sexualized.
I mean, I will say, I thought they were being ridiculous and prudish with Erika Vickman.
I agree. I think it was a little too conservative.
If they're going to be ridiculous and prudish, at least do it in a way that is equal. And now it's being directed towards Jonas Love. I mean, I honestly have no idea what it is about this performance that could have been too much. Does he maybe it's something?
It's something we've not seen potentially.
It could be a grab his crotch. He grabs his crotch or something.
Maybe. I obviously from the EBU perspective, and I know people are obviously in the chat going, it's all the EBU. The thing is that this is a family show. It goes out at a family time. They want kids to watch it. They have a clear view of what the lines are. Those might be slightly further back than what our lines are. So I understand it from that perspective. They're running a brand. It has to be able to appeal to a 6-year-old, has to be able to appeal to a 96-year-old.
Yes.
So there are things that they need to make decisions on. But yeah, I'll hold judgment because we haven't seen the full performance, but based on the clip, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be reduced thrusting and humping, potentially, in the future. And we were talking to Jonas the other day about sausages, and particularly about really long sausages.
This can only go well.
Yes, and so one can only presume that maybe the EBU were watching that and they were like, we need to do a sausage box and crotch review of this performance, and they've now
You say that with such a straight face.
and they've now
sausage box review.
and they've now adjudged. They've done it's like a VAR check, but they sort of. I'm worrying I'm getting too into this.
It's car.
Significantly bigger sausage, says Dan Laguna. Significantly censored sausage, says Lewis here.
What a
Both
great
of those
throwback.
So yes, indeed. People are talking about Denmark staging with the thrusting. It's not as explicit in the terms of there's no grabbing, It's not like, give him a tickle or anything. It's just, that there is a difference here. Not every thrust is made equal, is what I would say.
That's what I think everyone thinks.
Yes, and
Cynthia.
right, before this stream gets demonetized, we should talk about the clip in general. It's extremely MGP. Obviously, they can't do the thing with the B stage, though I'm sure they will move out anyway. We've always looked at this with it's a showman trope, which has very much persisted here. They've kept the same kind of vibe. Jonas has talked about this in the interview about how he very much understands, what the shtick is the wrong word, what the kind of some of the vibes they're trying to channel here are. It's meant to invoke, certain nostalgia and so on. How well do you think that's working?
I am surprised at the decision to have essentially a flat stage, centre spot, where everyone kind of has their position, where I think the main strength of Jonas Love as a performer is the unpredictability. Mm-hmm. I want him to go around the stage kind of without choreography, obviously with it, but in a feeling that's quite chaotic, because he is such a showman. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, and I've told Jonas this, and I've told his team this as well, so I can say it. I wasn't sure on...
Hello everyone, we've moved to a backup connection, so we're now using a different device to achieve the same effect, and hopefully that will work better. This will be the ultimate test of whether it is the wider internet connection or simply this shitty phone. I actually wonder whether it might be... It's actually worked and it's gone onto the same stream as well, so it's actually not broken the thing open, which is a relief. So... we are now once again testing the theory of, is my incompetence about to be fixed by my fiancé again?
You are aware that, for those who don't know, obviously, when we're in media, we all chat and we all like to have a laugh about all the content we make. We all call this channel ESC Cynthia, and I feel like you should all do the same, because let me tell you, the phrase, every man is made by a better woman, has never been more true.
Can I just say to the person in chat who just said that this is... I'm sorry to change the vibe very suddenly, but just to give you an idea, and I guarantee that I know what country this person is from. If I will see you in Vienna, you are not coming back home. I will promise you that.
Oh, charming.
Normally, I wouldn't read these things out, but can I just say... I find it extraordinary that people think that those kinds of things are acceptable. And I also find it extraordinary that this is the fourth account we've banned, though. So somebody is really, really committed to this. To be clear, to those sending those things, YouTube records IP addresses and we still have the messages, even if they're deleted. If that comes into chat again, I'm going to report you to the police. They will find out who you are, and they do take these things seriously. I've done it before, I'll do it again. So, let me tell you two things. Firstly, it's only going to end badly for you if you do that. Number two, you don't scare me, you're not going to shut me up, and you're not going to change my opinions.
So yeah, I think Jonas Love's performance is pretty good.
So I think Jonas Love's performance is good, and I think it's grown on me as well. I think understanding his motivations helps. For those of you who haven't already, go check the stream out yesterday. Watch the interview we did with him. If you check in the comments of the streams, by the way, the absolutely fantastic Neurocantata does timestamps for everything, and so you can go and see that and understand and quickly go to whatever you want to look at in the stream. Just saying, so far, it really is I just seen it, okay, it's happening again. It is. No! We're going to have to find another solution to this, I think, going forward. No, it's not the phone. It's not the phone. it's not an individual device that's causing this. This is clearly some bottleneck somewhere else which is causing this. Which it looks fine.
We're fine.
Fine for now?
Really? We're back, says people.
Okay.
Are we good? This is the most psychodrama of all the psychodrama streams we've ever done. It is actually back now. Yeah. James, next song.
Next song. Where are we going? I wonder, has Aidan gone through all of these stream spikes waiting desperately for the bell?
There was no lag, apparently. There was never any lag.
Tell you what.
So we're being lied to by our broadcasting thing, which told us that we lost like
Darling.
20 seconds.
Peace. Chat, just let us know if it lags, okay? We will carry on as normal, but if you let us know it lags, we will try our best to fix it. Thank you so much for bearing with us, and Mr. Rage Geordie here.
This is
Who's
Albania.
having a day.
Look at Albania. They've got subtitles.
We're going into it. Yeah, the subtitles is a really big one for them.
Yeah, what do you think of them, James?
I think this is exactly what they should have done.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it's exactly what they should have done. Look, this is quite a sparse staging, but because they want to draw attention. Look at the smoke. Look at the subtitles. Look at the brooding of I'm Alice. I'm wearing sunglasses. I have a sparkly hood on. Look at what this is communicating. This is a staging that I think has got a clear concept. Obviously, the song is about mothers and leaving and returning. I think that definitely comes through. I think this is one of the highlights so far. Yes, I am like a therapist, Stephen. Thank you for pointing that out. I do offer good rates, competitive rates. Some of you, my God, need it.
Yeah, I in general, I'm happy because they're keeping their cards close to their chest. But I will say, I've seen some people say that this is a bit of an odd visual. How do you feel about this one?
I don't mind it. I think I wouldn't want this to be the only visual. I think there needs to be storytelling with the visuals if they're going to go for like single image focus on this. I think they've got to do multiple. They have to bring you into the story of the song. Like that's clearly the goal because the subtitles are there for you to understand it. Also, like I know this is probably like a massive overstretch, right? But the font choice matters. They've gone for quite a basic font. So they're not trying to hit you over the head like I think back to like Give That Wolf a Banana with the crazy font they had on that. You know, this is subtler. This is inviting you to go into the meaning of the song. Obviously, Lucio Corsi did it last year to very good effect as well. This is a proven strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to get overly sort of, what's the word? I don't want to read too much into this because even though, if people think it's a weird shot, if it's just 10 seconds at the start of the performance, ultimately it's a minor detail, it's a minor element. There is still time to make different impressions. People aren't going to shut off straight away and they can still be one back. The other thing that I would wonder, by the way, this is related to the outages and so on. What if the stream is getting botted? Because this kind of thing, they can be linked together sometimes.
I hope not.
I'd prefer if it wasn't on balance, but we'll see. But
You won't
yes,
stop us,
at the
though, if
same
you are.
time, one thing we should do, we haven't done any polls this evening, and they, I would like to do some polls, so we are going to have one now. And the poll is going to be based on the clip, whether you feel more or less confident that Albania will qualify based on it. So I'm going to do that. So Albania's clip makes me feel ... more confident, less confident.
Yes, there have been polls on Twitch,
Yes.
but now there's a big poll.
Sorry, that was my fault. I should have been doing the polls. I'm sorry about that.
My answer is more confident, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel more confident as well. I feel much, much more confident. But yeah, what I will say is, as everyone, stuff that's happening in chat and so on, you see bots, you see spam accounts and stuff, report them to YouTube when you see them. Thank you so much, Carlos, for the after live beer fund. I'm going to need it. We do actually have some Radlers in the fridge, which we will definitely be having. Just report them, move on. Don't worry about it. We have got it. And also, do not worry about me. I'm a big boy. Cynthia knows karate.
Thank God someone does, eh?
Yes, and I have many objects. I'll stab them with this tiny Finland flag that I've acquired.
That is the wrong way.
This is me. I'm going to poke your eye out if you put Belgium in on Tuesday.
Do you ever wonder what your life would be like if you didn't have such an accomplished fiance?
Yes, and the idea horrifies me. So, we're going to give you a bit more time to vote on that poll. Twitch, you have about half your time left, and so you have the same amount of time left over on YouTube. 743 votes so far. Let's see if we can get that past 800. I know you can all do it. While we are waiting for that, I just want to say, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. And may I recommend, for your viewing pleasure, I'm just going to bring it up on screen. I'm just going to have to do this for a second. I want to point you all towards the video that we released earlier today, which is, and I'm just going to zoom in so that you can all, okay, that's too much zoom in. I've zoomed in too much, James, there we go. So, let me go back to here. This video here, and ignore the Rodolfo Chiquilaquatre of it all and that.
Famous Sergio Hayat statue.
We sat down in this very spot with the wonderful Sergio Hayat, who staged Wasted Love, Doomsday Blue, Leerkenheerten, and he talked us through the creative process and he gave us loads of insights. After this stream, please go watch that video. It's super interesting. It's one of my favorite things that I have made on this channel.
That's what I'm going to do, because I haven't watched it yet. I was doing the numbers. I was being John Model.
You've been very busy, Mr. Model. 71% on YouTube, 76% on Twitch say this makes them more confident. This clip makes them more confident about Albania. For me, I think the key thing is the subtitles, which we kind of knew, but once you actually see it concrete, it's there. It's happening. I really think it helps. What weird proportions this window is right now. There we go. That's much better, isn't it? We're going to move on. I'm not sure if Aiden is still there, but we're going to look at Malta. And I have some interesting observations about this.
You do, of course.
I saw this before. Now, I'm wondering... I'm going to put this in a way, so no spoilers. Let me put it like this. The way this is here is not exactly the way it was when I saw it a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
I am wondering whether there may still be a small surprise. And the reason I think that is I know that this movement is controlled by two people on stage who are not ORF or EBU stagehands. They're performers. So the speed of the spin is controlled in the stage show.
So it's essentially like, it's probably like, it's a very base metaphor, but it's kind of like two people powering it like on bicycles, essentially. Getting the movement going.
I wonder about the speed.
The thing I noticed...
Let's watch again.
Yeah, if you watch, especially at the start, because obviously here we're flat, and now it's like, now your cue. There's an initial push, and then they're like, oh, that was a bit heavier than I expected. And then they get it sort of there, but you can see the little judders. So you can tell it's hand cranked. That was what I was looking for, hand cranked. This is a bit of DIY on the Eurovision stage. It's a bit like, you ever watch Scrap Heap Challenge?
Yes.
So it's a lot better than Scrap Heap Challenge, but that's the vibe I get. It's like a nice DIY, but very classy thing.
Yeah. What I think is, and because people are saying it makes them feel a bit dizzy, counterintuitively, I think that effect would be less if they were moving faster.
Weirdly,
because
yes.
it would cause the background to blur a little bit. What you want is it basically to be moving fast enough that these pillars, because if they start to blur slightly because of the bit rate, you won't feel it as much. I wonder whether in the live show they might go faster. So it's like they're still, even though it's right in front of our faces, I feel like there might be something hiding in plain sight.
I mean, you're the one who knows. Like, obviously, you went and spoke to the creative team. They showed you things. Obviously, I have not seen these things, so I am going in definitely more blind. I'm the same as you guys, really. What I see is something that is conceptually strong. I am not yet sure whether it's working to the level they want, because like something like this is such a high risk, high reward shot. Like either you nail it or you don't.
Yeah.
They've got to nail it.
Yeah. I will say, like I said, I hope it's faster because I think the effect would be better if it's faster. What I will point out is you can see behind him, you can see the screens. These are a very prominent factor of the entire performance. So the zoetrope effect that we've talked about before, those will be projected onto those screens. And it's the fact that they're almost see-through. It's very clever. It's this kind of LED gauze.
Yeah,
it's the kind of thing that
glass.
feels slightly space age. Like, I find it difficult to conceive of until I actually saw it, and I was like, wow, they're really invisible. Canabai, by the way, says, Sergio Hyan was replaced as the staging director for Finland 25 and 26 on Eurovision World. Do you know why, since you just interviewed him? Well, he's still part of the delegation, so, I mean, unless he's left that interview and gone and started a big fight, which I doubt he has, I wouldn't read anything into it. He was definitely there before and now.
It'd be some headline though if it was like Sergio Hyan does video with ESC Gabe and retires.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done.
and deletes all evidence of his involvement.
Yeah, I will say though, having listened to this with sound as well, I'm excited for what we've got coming. I also want to really reinforce something because it's something that's a bit personal to me, and I've been seeing it a little bit in the last couple of days. As you all know, like there's been a bizarre bit of discourse has emerged on Twitter, and I saw it a little bit on ESC Discord. To be clear, and I'm only going to say this on stream once more, I was not paid to make a video with the Maltese delegation. I don't know where this has come from. I reached out to Aidan first to make a video on Instagram after we met at Melfest weekend. And that is that, basically. And that's really all I want to talk about it. You can disagree with me all you like on what I think of this song, what I think of the staging. I have liked this song since before that video was done. And I liked that, and I was excited by the staging when I saw it. Disagree with me all you like. Disagree with my opinions. Disagree with my approach to making videos. Don't question my integrity ever. I declare sponsorships. I declare paid partnerships every time, always will. I think it's good. And that is why I am saying it is good. And that's what I think about that. In any
mic
case,
drop raspberry is an interesting combo. I've never seen that one before.
It's like a sort of farty mic drop. I have to say, by the way, as well, looking at the speed at which things are moving on the LED, this is something that's just occurred to me, with the way it looks like it's designed for him to be moving faster.
More to see. I kind of watched that with a lot of curiosity. But it's interesting to me that Malta have decided to go for what is in effect their money shot.
Yeah.
When you've seen other delegations opt to go for something, for example, Finland and Denmark have literally just put the first 30 seconds up.
Yeah.
Australia, we've just been talking about them, first chorus. They are keeping their cards closer to their chest. Malta appear to be showing a little bit more of their hand. That, I think, is always something interesting to look at in terms of how the countries are feeling going into crunch time. Right.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, there's efforts to influence things like, you know, like the odds and so on in terms of what clips you use, because the clips, as we have seen, do really affect them. And if we look at, I mean, Malta and Romania are great examples of this, in that they really picked up on the back of their rehearsal photos and their rehearsal clips. They're sitting in the top 10 when they weren't there before. I mean, if we look at, I'll show you the Malta graph again in a moment. Romania, to be fair, was a little further, but it's kind of, it had this little jump when things started happening in rehearsals, which you can see here. What's probably a better example is Malta, where you can see this sharp bang, you know, as things hit in rehearsals. We should run a poll. Do you like polls?
I run one, realistically.
So, Malta's clip makes me feel ... more confident. Less confident. Start now. There we go. Thank you, James and Gabe, for your hard work, says Sasha. Slightly off topic, but do you believe they'll announce more stuff about Eurovision Asia this week? That's an interesting question. If they have something to drop that is ready, this would be the week to do it. This is why in the past they have held the junior Eurovision briefing in Eurovision week. So if they have something like a few more countries that they're ready to launch, I feel like we'll get it on it'll be like the Friday afternoon or something.
Well, you know why I think they could do it is because if you don't know, when we go into the media centre for Eurovision, obviously Gabe knows it less because he wasn't there last year, as we all know. They now have daily media briefings, and those start tomorrow. So those are literally spaces that the EBU has carved up. If they want to announce something, they've created the space. Mm-hmm. They've often told us where Junior Eurovision will be hosted. I think there's even a possibility of hearing about that this week. And potentially more on Eurovision Asia. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it works. Even amidst the chaos of the last 2 years, when they've done something like this, it has popped out and it has made the news in an appropriate matter. So, 68% on YouTube and 69% on Twitch. Nice.
Do you remember?
Say more confidence based on this clip. Is there, and we'll come to, hold your do you remember for 1 second. I want you to answer one question first. Is there any world in which this doesn't qualify? I don't think so.
I think it'll be fine.
I think they're sailing. I think they're totally fine.
If it was even on a full televote, they'd be okay. Mm-hmm. I think the song is strong enough.
Yeah.
To make it qualify, even televote only. The thing I wanted to say, do you remember about, thinking back to Junior, do you remember in Malmö when Anna Maria Bordas came out and they were doing like a press thing where they stood up and said, Junior Eurovision is going to be Madrid?
Yeah.
And it was on the Friday.
Yeah. And they came out, they did the quickest presentation of their life, and then they all fled.
and we were at our desk sort of, because we were kind of half paying attention to Anna Maria Bordas, and then the other 50% of us was screaming, crying, throwing up, trying to work out what else was going on.
And then Angelina Mango, happy utterly surreal day, by the way. Angelina Mango sung Imagine 2 years ago today.
Oh my God, it's the day.
It is to the day. I think, yes, it is real petals, by the way, in this. We should say in this clip.
Oh, that is real. It did look...
Some of them are projected.
Yeah.
They used a combination of the screen, but also there will be real petals thrown too, because the puppeteers that they have spinning the thing, as we talked about in our Malta video, they do throw the petals as they spin the thing. They're consummate professionals, I really must say.
So if you want to know who the hardest working people in Eurovision are this week...
Yes, indeed. The other thing I wanted to ask you about this is obviously on the back of what we saw in the model before, I wanted to talk about how high can it go. I think it feels like the jury is the place where this will maybe run it up more. What do you think is the ceiling for Malta in terms of finishing position?
They'd do phenomenally to get top 5. I'm not going to say that's impossible, that they would have to do phenomenally well. Mm-hmm. Like, the staging would have to be considerably better than the clip.
Okay.
There would have to be more there for me.
I think there is. I will say, this thing, I have seen it, so I know. Yeah.
Maybe there is a chance, but I don't think that we're able to talk about Aiden in that winner conversation. Mm-hmm. If you're watching.
People are saying that I've got to stop the red face. There we go. Fine. There you go. You can have him here. There we go. Soulfully singing a note. The jacket is, by the way, is custom Versace. I prefer it to the one he had in the national final.
It must be nice for some, right?
Nah. I would like.
He has spares.
Can I, Aiden? When you're done, can I just, I'll
if you're not using it,
I'll happily take some custom Versace off your
would you do a custom Versace for a Nothing Burger T-shirt?
Yeah, we can. I just iron press this up. God, can you imagine such a piece of artistic and fashion vandalism?
What in the Facebook marketplace was that?
Here is my archival Versace jacket that I have iron pressed a Nothing Burger onto. I think that's the kind of thing that you actually... If I did that, I think I would deserve to be cancelled. Mm. Anyway, I'm excited for Aiden. I think the real question is, when it comes to where he finishes, how does it break through that group that we see as the jury powerhouses, which at the moment I say Australia, France, Denmark, Finland, that kind of group where we're expecting, and we saw in that photo, that they're occupying a lot of the high positions. The model has them breaking into that group.
Yep.
If they do that, they're going to get a result they are very, very happy with. If they don't, it won't be so easy. Any last thoughts on Malta before we move on?
In a really crazy world, it wins the jury. In a really crazy world.
Lay out that world to me. Describe it to me.
France underperforms. Australia underperforms. And then also Finland isn't quite as strong as we think. That's a lot of variables. So, I'm saying this is a very, very small chance, but not impossible.
It's a lot of doors that need to open in the correct order.
Yeah.
At the same time, I look at lots of Eurovisions in the past where I see all the doors open in the correct order for certain countries, for certain things to happen. Moldova in the televote in 22.
Yeah.
To be honest, JJ's win last year.
Yeah, doors really opened for that to be possible.
It required, for example, Barabada Bastu to underperform outside of the Nordics.
And Luan.
And the fart from Luan, which completely, in my opinion, obliterated the televote score.
I agree.
And some of these other things, and they added up, and then through they came. If you want to go way back, and you want a perfect example of what I call jam in the door syndrome, 2011, everyone got stuck in the doorway, which meant that Azerbaijan somehow wins the contest with a potential help of some groups of students who received some brown envelopes. But we'll never have any confirmation of whether that was true or not beyond the Lithuanian investigation that was done a year or two later.
No, we will not.
But if one of the doors is made up of brown envelopes,
that'd be a very
at
big
that
door.
time, then that was one of the doors that was required for Azerbaijan to win in 2011, and it duly opened.
And just remember, when an envelope opens, Johnny Logan shows up.
Oh, he's actually, you say that, he's not coming. Eurovision is so toxic as a brand at the moment that even Johnny Logan will not show up this year. But no, coming back around to where we were. Obviously, with Malta, I think it's the jury delivers. If he impresses the televote in the televote, then some things can come together. I would be so delighted for him, especially given he's such a big Eurovision fan, if he broke into that upper section of the scoreboard, like top 6, top 7, and I don't think it's impossible if everything lines up.
Like, you and I have both spoken to Aidan a couple of times. Obviously, Belfast weekend, he was there. London Eurovision party, we had a little chat with him. He really, really cares. He really does love Eurovision. He has wanted to do this since he was 7 years old. I always want to see someone accomplish their dream. You always want to see that. I hope he does well. I hope he is proud of the performance. And I hope actually that he doesn't pay too much attention to the result, because he's got to the stage and that is a win in itself, let's remember.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have that moment in the final because he will be there. So, we are going to continue along, and next we have the hosts in a weird position where I kind of look at it differently, because with the host I'm like, am I entertained? I'm almost not looking for the technical details. I'm not expecting big scores because it's the host. I'm more like, is it fun? Do I enjoy it? And if the answer is yes, then I'm basically already happy. Does it look silly and fun? To be honest, yeah.
Yep.
It looks kind of chaotic. It looks like it might be a little bit sort of adorably messy, but it's silly, it's fun, and I enjoy it. And I looked at this and I sort of went, that's fun.
I have been really enjoying this at the pre-parties. I think it's a lot more fun than people have given it credit for. I think he's really charismatic. Like, this is a good contrast. I like the lights here. That's fun. The thing is, right, when you're a host entry, you have a really unique opportunity because you are going to get your crowd going. You need to give them something. I think back to Liverpool, when May Muller closed the show, just like Cosmo is going to do, and the crowd went so nuts that they couldn't move on with the show for about a full minute, because it was just a bunch of Scousers going, yeah!
And that was after a performance which, by her own admission, didn't quite hit the standard. The vibes were still immaculate, even though the performance itself wasn't that good.
The arena is very forgiving as a sound mix.
The other thing is, this is quite a song that exists a lot in the low register. If you have lots of screaming and cheering and clapping and stuff, it'll come through. It, in some ways, the song leaves space for that. I am curious to see. Obviously, we have this climbing frame in the background. I really think that it gives some opportunities for, like, actually, if you think, with Finland, with the angle Peter Parkkonen, where he's clasping onto the thing, there are some things you can do with that, with the dancers and with Cosmo, that I hope they take advantage of, because it's a cool little feature that having a prop like this enables. I hope that so obviously they have the masks on, so I presume there's also going to kind of be this animals in a cage thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that make me quite interested here. Obviously, the really exciting thing is we get to talk to him about this tomorrow, and I'm really excited to do that. And we will be using Cynthia's phone rather than mine for that. I can tell you that for free. Sorry, honey, you've just lost your phone for the entire week. But yeah, so I am happy at this stage. ESC Bitistrava says there's rumours about press conferences coming back. Well, we do get media briefings every day.
Yes.
Are we going to get press conference? Do we know this yet? Are there press conferences for the qualifiers?
I don't know this. It's not been announced, is what I'll say. I don't have any insider gossip on that. So, yeah, if I'm missing something, then okay. But I've not heard that they're in this year. I suppose we'll find out in a day or two whether we are off to do something.
Yep. Obviously, it is something that we will cover and something we will work with if it exists. That said, I think I probably wouldn't be in the press conferences, but I have a team. If we have a question we want to ask, I will send my team to go and do it. I'll have to come back here. I'll have a video to film and to edit immediately afterwards. But yeah, let's see what happens. I would love for the press conferences to be back because it does produce some nice moments. At the same time, obviously, for the delegations, for the artists, they'll be very tired at that point. It's late at night. They've all just been sort of shredded with their nerves. But apparently some people are saying they're on the schedule. We'll come back to you about this for later.
We'll find out. I'll go look into it.
France next. Monroe, regard. Interesting problem for France coming into this because, and I'm going to bring up the odds again briefly. I actually had them on another tab. There we go. Yeah. That's much better. Because there was this kind of, as you can see, this again, it shows where the narrative is, right? And people kind of went cold is the wrong word. Maybe just became a little unconvinced and maybe felt that it was lacking a little potential in terms of especially the televote. Let's have a look at the clip anyway. And first start with the good. It's dramatic. It's really dramatic. There's a little too much smoke. I understand there will be slightly less smoke in future. From conversations I've had. She is, that one is, obviously.
Average Parisian street, 1961.
They will obviously fix that. I think, they're seeing the same things we are.
Shot-for-shot remake of Breathless.
I think it says a lot that, again, much like the Maltese and some others, they're choosing quite a late part of the song, quite a dramatic part. So this is we want to shift the narrative with this clip kind of thing. The question is, do we feel that they've done it? James, your thoughts?
I think they've solidified what is going to make the entry a contender, which is that Monroe very clearly has the best technical voice in the competition. Regardless of what you think of opera, I know we've had 2 opera winners. It is very, very impressive très impressive in Monroe's case, that you're able to sing in that way. She is 17 years old, for the love of God.
I mean, the talent is incredible.
It's incredible. And the best vocalists usually do very well with the juries, usually do well with the televote. I saw a couple of people in chat saying, people don't want opera 3 years in a row. Like, for us, maybe, because we've had a couple of opera winners, we've had this phase. But
the real world doesn't care what we think.
The vast majority, I'm looking into the camera for this, the vast majority of people who watch Eurovision are not like us. They are people who are watching it at an office work party, or they've gone around their mate's house, or they're channel hopping while they watch TikToks or something. And they just watch it because it's a novelty. And they're not thinking about it in the sense of, oh, well, I like France, but when I really think back to La Forza in 2018, I'm not sure how that compares against Alina Nechayeva. We might, but the vast majority of people
Although
won't.
we should point out that being a pure opera song that was considered a contender at the top end, did middlingly well, I would say, based on what the pre-show expectations were. It came, I think it was 6th, which is a good finish.
6th is still good.
But the French are not trying to come 6th. I think the one thing we can all agree on, no matter what we think of this, it is very obvious the French want to win this competition. They are doing everything they can to win this competition that is within their ability.
I mean, this staging is Barbara Pravi 5.
Yes. It is. It gives that same... At the same time, if your performer can emote in the way she does, and I will say in particular... her and actually Alexandra Capitanescu as well have the ability to emote with your eyes in a really powerful way into the camera. I think plays so much into her favor. She really does connect with the screen. And again, it's the kind of thing that at such a young age is extremely impressive. Jacob Spencer's version says, I know this is impossible, but I just imagined Alicia being higher than Monroe in the jury. No. No.
A very good vocalist, but I think it comes down to song still more importantly than vocalist.
Yeah, we're not going to be... That's not going to be happening. Just quickly, I want to shout out Marius from before. So sorry I missed your super chat. Saying that Bhutan should host Eurovision Asia. That would be hilarious, but it's not going to happen. Neurocantata says, is Nina Sublatian there? We are back in Vienna. Now,
we are back in Vienna.
That's a trauma memory, is Nina Sublati's performance being ruined by excessive smoke in 2015. Overall, I'm going to do a poll. I am going to do a poll on Twitter. On Twitter?
On Twitter?
You can tell my brain is scrambled. We're going to do a poll on YouTube for whether you think France can win the contest. Not will it. Do you think it is in with a chance, yes or no? Can France win Eurovision? And the answers are obviously yes and no. Start poll. Off we go. So, let's see what happens. I'm curious just to see what the sentiment is on this.
I'm watching this as well. This is very interesting to me because the thing you don't really get in the model is proper instant sentiment analysis. That's a very different thing to numerical. That's a very interesting.
Yeah, we'll give people a little more time to vote. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. We'll have to see what happens, of course. At the moment, I am really on the fence about it. Really, really on the fence. Because I look at the clip and I think it's impressive. I'm not getting that, oh, there it is kind of feeling yet.
Yeah.
But I have to say that my brain flat. Oh,
Would
I
you
remembered.
like me to pick up?
No, sorry. Wasted Love. I said that I didn't get winner vibes from Wasted Love, and then it won. So
I said the exact same thing at the time. There was someone I remember in the media bubble when the semi-finals were on who came up to me and whispered in my ear, "I don't think JJ's qualifying."
Really?
Yeah. There was feeling going around. Sometimes I know we claim to be we know about Eurovision. We can be just as wrong as anybody.
Yeah. Bruno Cruz says, losing his mind for a violin sound, but this doesn't scream winner. I just thought the violin was cool. I'm allowed to think things are cool. It's just my opinion, man. You don't have to agree with me. It's okay. We can disagree. Let's get a beer sometime, all right? And let's talk about it. We have a little bit more time to vote in this poll. Once it expires on Twitch, I will give you the results. So, one thing we have been thinking about doing, by the way, someone said my mum immediately singled out Wasted Love. Next year, we should see if we can.
Yes.
I think we're gonna try and do this. We're gonna all collectively get all of our mums to rank all the songs, with the goal being that we can see if we can use that to predict the televote. By the way, 59% of you think that France cannot win Eurovision. It will not, as in they think other is more likely. They think that it does not have a chance.
Yeah, I'd take a pinch of salt in that. I think there'll be some people who'll be reading that question as, will they still? But it's telling still that 59% would have gone there even with that wording. I do think that says something.
Yeah. So, let's move on. And next we have... Germany. Sarah Engels. And I think I'm going to... Oops. Will the clip load? Thank you. Let's just turn this down to 480p, shall we? There we go. All right. So we're now watching it in 2005 vision. Some things that
Back when
stick
Germany
out for
actually
me.
could do Eurovision.
At the same time, what I will say is, when I first watched this and when I first saw the photos, the thing I thought is, I think she looks stunning, and I actually really love the outfit. I think it works for her, it works for the song, and I think you need to do the kind of, if you're doing girl bop, you really have to do girl bop. So the first thing I'm going to say is, I think when it comes to outfit choices, they've got it right. And so well done to Sarah and whoever your stylist and your wardrobe manager is. The song is always going to be the limitation, James, but staging-wise, do you feel that they are at least being resourceful with what they do have?
I think they've gone down the route I would have expected. Because when you have such an obvious girl bop number, you have to go in a certain direction. You have to sell it. Especially now when, I often think about this, but we have a sort of pre and post Chanel world in girl bops, where Chanel raised the stakes of what a girl bop could and should be so much.
And evolved it, I think,
Yeah,
very
and took
significantly.
the medium, she really, she enhanced the form. She enhanced the form.
She built on the footsteps led by Eleni Ferreira and Evie Adamu.
Exactly.
And other Cypriot entries.
Yeah. Other Panic Records contributions. Oh, God. Look, Sarah Benici 2 years ago added the girl bop flip.
Yes. Oh, I loved that flip. God, she was so robbed. That's a whole separate thing.
Back to
Germany.
We should start talking about girl bops, by the way, in terms of when they do the gymnastics and they've got routines, they're like, well, the difficulty of this routine is a little bit higher.
We should use that scoring method where we sort of, mark where they're marked on execution. So Sarah Benici would get a big plus
big degree of
0.5 for the flip, and she was blindfolded. You get a bonus.
Blindfolded flip as well.
She's in
Trailblazer.
She's in Vienna, by the way.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's with Aiden's team. Just quickly.
She co-wrote the song, didn't she? Of course.
Yeah, Olga says, we cannot trust my mum. She hates serious entries, and her winner last year was Espresso Macchiato. Yeah. So your
Espresso
mum...
Macchiato came third.
Yeah, Espresso Macchiato would have won the televote if it was fair. So, I mean, you may have accidentally just proved our point, but thank you very much for the donation. I still think they're going to do really badly because of the limitations of the song. I think the problem is with genres that are very heavily represented in the contest is it has to be world class.
Exactly.
For that, every element of it has to be world class. This song is not world class by any stretch.
You said the exact same thing on an episode of my show, Eurovision Uncovered, you were on. Remember we talked about genres and we sort of spoke about girl bops and you were like, it's got to be world class if you're doing a common genre. That's absolutely true. If you're a girl bop, you've got to be a great girl bop. If you are, let's say Portugal, who are doing the Cante Alan Tejano or whatever it's called, I can't remember off the top of my head, sorry. That's a unique genre. The novelty is there. If you're doing a girl bop, you must nail it.
Yeah. So I think low finish. Let's see what happens. But at the very least, the performance, from what we've seen, looks slick. It looks together. It looks professional. That's what we were hoping for. We're moving on to Italy, to your darling Sal Da Vinci, who's officiating a wedding. And I love the campness of this giant
That's unbelievable.
Italy flag dress. I mean, it's just so extra. I love it.
In case you forgot who we are.
We are Italy. We are extremely Italian. And just so you remember, we are Italy and we are extremely Italian. And I am extremely Neapolitan. Also, we have our dance move, and I love how they all do it together. Shall we do it with them? So, James, you are the Sal Da Vinci connoisseur here.
Yes.
Please tell us, what do you think of this clip? How are you feeling about their chances?
I have watched many live performances for Sempresi. I think I'm one of the most qualified people in the world to talk about this song and him. I've spoken to Sal as well. I think this is exactly the route they needed to go down.
Yeah.
It's building on the original music video. As well, they had for Sanremo, where Sal Da Vinci was kind of playing Cupid for these two young lovers, doing the same thing on the stage here. He gets to be kind of like this guardian angel of love.
Yeah.
And that's honestly the vibe I get from him. Like when we were in Sanremo, there's 30 artists, there's a lot of people, a lot of big names as well. And they have press conferences, and they all come and do like 20 minutes of questions with the Italian press. And I'll tell you now, the queue for Sal Da Vinci was the longest line of the week, and it was not close. He has this like just charm that you can't explain. You feel pulled in. Like when I spoke to Sal Da Vinci in Amsterdam for another thing I'm making, and I just went to him and I was like, he was sat down, I went up and I was like, Sal Da Vinci, I watched you in Sanremo. I am so honoured to meet you. And I never do this. Okay, I like, he is just so wonderful. I love him. I love this song. I love everything it stands for. And, you know, maybe this is a bit biased. This is Heart Over Head. I'm not really being an expert. I'm being more of a fan with it. But
yeah, that's my role.
I know. I'm meant to actually, like, know things, aren't I? I'm sort of failing on that point. But I just love this. The staging, you know, could it be better? I think so. I think maybe there's some work they can put into it. But I like the concept. I think that's right. And I have zero doubt that he will nail it. He has been performing since he was 6 years old. He is now 57.
Yeah, it has sounded the same every time I've heard it.
Yeah,
he switches on, he does
gets
it.
on, nails it, goes off.
Yeah, so I like him very much. As always, we have a wide variety of opinions. There's lots of people who are like, woo, yeah, it's great. And there was one person in chat who was like, I hate it. Which we're upset about, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. And it shows the breadth of opinion on this fine stream is extremely wide. Extremely wide.
Don't you find it like so? It's almost emotionally moving how many ways that people in Eurovision can be wrong.
Trust me, just us two alone. at least 50 different ways each stream. We find so many ways to be wrong. Okay, now.
Okay. Patriotism time.
Yeah, right. Come on. Look, Mum, no computer. Let's not beat around the bush. The response I've seen to this in fan media and so on has not necessarily been particularly positive. James, how are you feeling about this at this stage? Apparently he had food poisoning, by the way.
He had food poisoning.
Yeah, he ate a dodgy fish pie.
Sam is not the problem. Sam's not the problem here. Energy is good. You know, he's getting out there. He's doing the call and response now, of course. I'm not sure, quite if this is the year for a call and response based on the EBU's current approach to audio noise. But, we'll see how that goes for them. I think the problem is that they've put the music video on the stage and they've clearly made it fit his character, but I don't think they've developed it in any way beyond that. I think they've just put the prop down and gone, okay, we've done enough now. Can you just sort of move around? It doesn't feel like any more thinking has gone into this. And I watched this pretty disappointed, to be honest. I'm pretty disappointed because you could have done so much more with this guy. He is unique in a way that we have not had in an entry for a number of years. You could have pushed this in a really radical direction. I just feel sometimes that we in the UK are so worried about trying things and so worried about going down the direction. This is the fucking Eurovision Song Contest. Anything goes. You can do anything you want within reason. As long as the EBU don't find it too sexy, at least.
Yeah, Jonas Love.
You can do so many things with this. I feel as if they thought of, okay, we've just got to kind of hit the numbers of this, and then they didn't think beyond that. The difference between a good staging and a great staging is simply thought and detail.
Yeah, no, I think I completely understand where you're coming from with this. One thing that I will say about this is that I thought the color scheme of the music video popped more. I would have kept the red boiler suit. I would have had like the desk on stage and maybe the car and stuff. They had all these props and stuff that they put together for the music video that I thought was so cool. And I maybe would have kept them. At the same time, putting aside, I do think that I am also worried for a lot of the same reasons you say. I do think it's really Sam. It's really look, Mum, no computer.
It's him.
And I think the thing that's strongest about it is that it does have some of his bizarro, some of his craziness. I just hope that we see more when it's actually live on stage this week. I'm sorry, all of you in advance. I'm gonna probably be huffing a bit of copium on this one, because I really, really want it to work. The other thing is I'm scared what it means for the BBC and Eurovision if this really, really flops, because they decided to essentially go crazy, mad. I want.
Is this crazy mad? Do we see this and go, this is crazy mad? This is conservative. This is neutered. This is, we aren't planning to go crazy and mad because we're dipping our toes in the water of crazy and mad, but we're not going into this. It's like, I know you say, oh, it's very, very Sam, but it's like if someone asked me, oh, hey, James, what do you think of Gabe? And instead of going, oh, Gabe is a really good friend of mine, we make content together, we have a laugh, I just go, oh, yeah, nothing burger.
I get what you mean. By the way, that's the first time we've ever made Cynthia burst out laughing on a screen.
Proud.
I do feel, it's the kind of thing where I want it to be turned up to 11. I want every light in the place flashing like crazy. I want him running around on the stage. I want neon and loud colours and mirrors everywhere and all kinds of weird, bizarre things happening.
And it's not a problem with budget. Okay,
Yeah.
I know the BBC is currently going through budget drawbacks. That's a whole thing we can discuss in another time. But my goodness, the BBC has power as a broadcaster. If they wanted to, they could throw the kitchen sink at this. I am not seeing a broadcaster that is throwing the kitchen sink. I want us to throw the kitchen sink because I want to have a year like Sam Ryder every so often. But I don't want it to just be, oh, we got lucky one time. You shouldn't get lucky at Eurovision. You should do well at Eurovision because you picked a good song from your submission, you gave it the proper backing on stage. This is a Benker Riedman staging.
Right, so they've got in, and Benker Riedman, for those of you who aren't familiar, did The Code and did Cha Cha Cha.
Yeah.
So two of what are considered the
those,
best stagings
that
in modern
with this.
times. Yeah. Just want to quickly say thank you so much, Algis, who threw in a tenner and said, thanks for keeping the stream going after all the issues. You can thank Cynthia for that one. Really appreciate your support. And that tenner will be going on buying her a glass of wine. Which he's very pleased about. In London, they'll get you one glass of wine because London.
In Vienna, possibly two.
You could get 2 glasses of wine. It's more reasonable in Vienna. I just, the thing is that frustrates me, and I think frustrates you. We both know the people behind the UK delegation, and when you speak to them, and you can tell, a lot of these people are looking at it with really clear eyes. It's not like they look at something like Bigger Than Us and Michael Rice and go, oh, that was great. Come on. They see the same things that everyone else do. Everyone knows that the James Newman trumpets were a mess.
Yeah.
I just think I feel like we ask the right questions, but we get the wrong answers. It's like I think there is an understanding of some of the things that need to be done, but they're not quite hitting yet. And as a result, maybe it's just not quite, it's not gelling, and we keep ending up in this kind of weird purgatory where, in my opinion, the quality is higher than the 2010s, but we can't quite get the results together. There are flashes of hope. Like, Remember Monday did actually really bloody well with the jury.
Yeah, 88 points with the jury. It's very good for us.
It was great for us. We got a 12,
Thank you, Topo Gigio.
Yeah, the 12 cheesy points. Anyway, but it just doesn't, it's just not quite clicking yet. And I want it to click, and I really want it to click somehow for Sam this week because I love the guy. And, and he's kind of, he's a YouTuber too.
You have a personal, and it's brothers in arms
and
stuff.
I feel like you go to that museum in Ramsgate and you see into his brain, and it's a really exciting and inspiring and joyful place. And you look at it and think, this is such an obvious fit for Eurovision. I just think I'll be really sad if we get to the end of this week and we found that potential has not been fully realised.
You know what? While you were talking, I had this reckoning. It's the last thing I'll say on this entry for now. And this is a very straight metaphor, but we're like the Tottenham of Eurovision. We've got all the facilities. We've got the revenue. We've got the potential. But somewhere down the line, it just all goes wrong somewhere. and once in a while, you win a Europa League, right?
That was Sam Ryder, second
the Europa
place,
League.
yeah.
But then eventually, you become Tottenham again.
This is an unbelievable, like, actually, and everyone's agreeing with you, by the way, in chat. Everyone's like, holy shit, he's got it. That's actually such a good metaphor, and I'm really angry I didn't think of it already. The problem is that with Tottenham, it always gets worse. So that kind of makes me fear.
They're playing my team tomorrow, so it might get better.
Leeds United fan, by the way.
Newcastle United, football fans.
Yeah, so is Tottenham the football Kia asylum, says Stephen. Yeah. Thanks so much, Anders, who says this staging is the same as Damn Diggy Da by Kano at MGP. I can see it with the square head.
Yeah,
things.
with the square heads, but I think that's kind of where that ends up. I think that's where that comparison ends.
Oh, right. Let's now. We've gone through all the new rehearsal clips, right? Now we have a couple of things. I think we're going to talk more about overall in a minute. I think we wanted, and I sort of talked about this earlier on. I'm going to throw just us up on the screen for a minute. Right, the lighting's very cozy, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like, and it's like a sort of an evening conversation.
The lighting is really good on you, although I don't have a specific light, because before this stream we had a conversation about lighting, and you said, well, for the artist, we want to light them. For you, it's fine.
No, but you look handsome. Look, one sec, I can do this. Watch, one sec. Are you ready to watch James light up? Okay, it doesn't work. Wait,
oh,
no, that's way too much of a change.
No, we're not even in conversation anymore.
Okay, let's go back to, let's just keep it as it was. So just quickly, before we move on, we're going to have a conversation about advertising campaigns, because I think it's very relevant to this week. Firstly, I want to thank Starry Sorceress and Danny Elias for your super chats. Starry Sorceress, £20. Thank you so much. That's extraordinarily generous. Says the BBC has the budget, but they don't want to spend it. Our staging is always cheap. If Sam wasn't able to build this, I feel we'd have no staging at all this year. I think he's done well considering everything. And Danny Elias says, I feel, and thank you so much for the £5 super chat, says, I think the problem with the UK is they don't understand the audience. They never really appeal to anyone. So firstly, with Starry Sorceress, the thing is if you look back at our stagings, we have had among the most expensive stagings in a lot of different years. Ollie Alexander's thing was pretty pricey.
Yeah, James Newman's was very pricey.
James Newman's, the trumpets were the most expensive prop of anyone in 2021.
Yeah. And Blas Canto had a moon the size of the moon.
Yes. 2022, we had the spaceship with Sam Ryder, which actually is a lot of the techniques used to light that are the same ones used for Aiden's arches.
Well, it was Dan Shipton on both, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we've had a lot of expensive stagings. It's just we're very good at crashing and missing the mark. I think, it's the kind of thing where I wish I had all the solutions again. I made a video about this before. I think I might need to do it again. I wonder whether, and actually I'm pretty sure the delegation would agree with this. I wonder whether the solution is to essentially tear everything up and try and do this kind of, give ourselves 7 shots instead of 1 by doing like a 7-song. BBC does the costumes, music videos, everything. So you essentially make hey artist, here's a free promo campaign and a free music video and free production, like they do in UMK.
Yeah, I mean, we tried
and then at least
this.
we'll have 7 shots instead of 1 to come together with something that makes people go, it works.
But we tried this. We tried this in the mid-10s. Not to quite the UMK level, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of UK-specific factors that would prevent that. I genuinely believe,
That's all right.
that the BBC knows that actually the appetite in the UK for a British Eurovision national final is not enough to justify the spending to get the ratings. Mm-hmm. We're having a real problem in the UK with linear television and the ratings they're gathering. Spare for a few hit shows that involve calling someone a faithful or not.
Or dancing. Celebrities dancing.
It's very difficult to pull viewers. When they were doing the national finals 10 years ago, this was on BBC Three, BBC Four on the red button. Mm-hmm. To bet on a national final, which you'd have to put on BBC One to have the scale that you're talking about, would be a huge bet, particularly on unproven, unless you could get proven artists. Mm-hmm. But then you've got to put the fees there up front. Yeah, the problems just stack up.
And I think that's the other thing is that the artists in the UK of the kind of caliber that would be required are never going to do a show like that without a fee.
Or guarantees, to be honest.
Yes, it's really, really tough. It is really, really, really tough. hopefully, like, I do think this is a problem that can be solved in some way. I do wonder whether they should start taking a leaf out of some, basically just start looking at what other delegations are doing and doing well. Look at the kind of some of the focus grouping that people are doing, some of the ways that artists are scouted in different places. There's lots of different lessons you can learn. We just hope they learn them. That's what we're going to move on from that now. We're going to park this discussion, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about advertising campaigns. There's been some high-profile stuff in the past couple of weeks. Firstly, there's been this kind of billboard ad campaign, which we've seen a lot of from Malta, appearing in all kinds of places. There's a few flyers around Vienna, but not that much. We've actually predominantly been seeing it, billboards in other countries. I've seen pictures in sort of like Bulgaria and Romania. I think I saw one in Lithuania.
And in Manchester as well.
And there was a big billboard outside Old Trafford in Manchester. Then secondly, we have the now sanctioned Israeli advertising campaign. So for those of you who don't know, the Israelis attempted to run the same advertising campaign as they've done in past years. Same language, same you can vote X number of times on the advert and everything like that. The EBU put a stop to this within hours when they got a hold of it, although many fans, I think, are frustrated that there was only a warning given. We can definitely we should provide some commentary on that decision, I think, because I know we both have a lot of thoughts. I think this is something where clearly they're more active, they're more conscious of it this year. I don't think we've got the balance right yet. Okay. But firstly, we'll talk about what has happened, like where actions have been taken, which is the Israeli advertising campaign has been chucked. What's interesting is it didn't come from the broadcaster. At least ostensibly it did not come from the broadcaster. The line that the Israeli broadcaster is giving is that this was an artist and label initiative. Which was mysteriously in the same studio with the same language and the exact same techniques as the state-funded ones from last year, and done by a promoter who worked with the Israeli government on a regular basis, including at a UN event where Eden Golan sung October Rain. I'm sure these are all just, by the by, What a shocking turn of coincidences. But apparently, there's no state involvement. In any case, the EBU made it the broadcaster's problem, and it immediately stopped. And the broadcaster instructed the artist to pull it, and our understanding is that has been done. The Google Drive, which was circulated among fan media, has been pulled. It's gone. And we have not yet seen the ads running in that format on YouTube or elsewhere. So, for you, number one, what do you think this tells us about how this issue is being treated this year? The action that was taken. Secondly, do you think it's sufficient, and do you think that we are going to be having this conversation again at some point this week?
Heavy questions for 10:30 in Europe, but we'll try but I will get into them, of course. I mean, the first thing is when they announced the rules on campaigns, I remember us having a discussion and other people discussing, are these firm enough? Mm-hmm. Because we saw the kind of effect that the advertising campaign that was funded, of course, by the Israeli government advertising agency was having on the result in the end, Israel's major televote.
And for those of you who aren't familiar, we should say this isn't just hearsay or speculation. It's in black and white on the Google Ads Transparency Center. You can still go and look up those ads yourself and see this. It was funded by the Israeli government. Continue.
Yes, and investigated by Eurovision's own EBU News Spotlight team. Yeah. So, definite fact. So we weren't sure what disproportionate meant, because that's quite a vague word, right? When I say disproportionate, that could mean 2 or 3 things, really. Mm-hmm.
And without any precedent, it kind of doesn't mean anything until it's enforced. Now it's enforced.
What we have seen is the enforcement. So now we know that the EBU's definition of disproportionate moving forward, at the very least, is asking for multiple votes. That was what the statement that they gave on the record to Gabe yesterday said, was that it was encouraging multiple voting and that is disproportionate.
I'm going to get that statement up on screen while James is talking.
I mean, and as well as that, wasn't just the statement they gave to Gabe, there was, according to Aftonbladet over in Sweden, there was an email sent to the delegation heads essentially responding to this and saying, in fact, that's just coming up on the screen now, that these are campaigns that you cannot run, and if you are planning to, you need to review that now.
Mm-hmm. So what the precedent is now is that we know for a fact you cannot ask for 10 votes. What I'm curious about, to be honest, and I think the big open question is regarding scale. And this is where the Maltese question comes in as well.
Yeah.
About what amount of money being spent, whether it's by whoever it's by, is then considered disproportionate. Because in theory, if Noam Batan and his team, as ostensibly who are the people who were running these ads, at least that is the official position, were to spend an extremely large amount of money on ads that didn't say a specific number of
that
votes,
just said
for example,
vote, like every other ad
or
does.
just said, "Hi, I'm the Israeli artist." Does that reach a point where it is still disproportionate? Does that have implications for others, specifically Malta in this case, where we've seen this widespread thing? Do you think there's some kind of different enforcement that should be done? Also, thank you so much, Europunzel, for the €2.49, who says broadcasters earn extra revenue with Israel votes. It's kind of unclear what happens to the revenue from the voting, so maybe that's something we need to investigate another time.
Perhaps. I mean, this is why the word disproportionate is vague, right? Because I feel like if you apply disproportionate to multiple votes, that's pretty cut and dry. You're either asking for multiple votes or you're not. Mm-hmm. When you start applying the word disproportionate in terms of money, that is a really slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because the problem you would have is eventually, if you didn't tell anyone what the threshold of disproportionate was, and they went over it, they'd be like, well, how would we possibly know what the threshold was? We had this money, we wanted our entry to do well, how can you possibly penalise us for trying hard?
Yeah, and without having a defined point. And this is the
You
thing
have to
with...
have like a budget cap on spending, and that feels like way too Formula One for Eurovision.
At the same time, you say that, but I'm starting to wonder, I'm really keen to hear what people in chat think about this. I mean, I find this a really fascinating topic. I think it's one of the most important in terms of competitive integrity. One of the most important topics in the contest right now. In elections, let me tell you this, I used to be a political organizer. That used to be my job. I have completed spending returns. I had to complete spending returns for 63 candidates. I had to complete 63 separate returns. Just me. I had to track every penny that was spent, every ad we ran, every leaflet that we published. And afterwards, anyone could look at my returns. You could go to the relevant council office and ask for the returns from that election, and they would give them to you and you could look at them. If you had a system where these things had to be tracked, where there was a discrete budget that you had to stay within, that was high enough that any reasonable promotion from a label is not realistically going to reach it, but is low enough that a state-funded propaganda campaign could not significantly move the dial, where you had to declare each and every advert, you would have this way to double verify. On one hand, you have the declared list from each delegation of the ads that are being run. On the flip side, you have the Google and Meta Ads Transparency Centers, which tells you what ads are being run and where. You would know if people were telling the truth or not. If that would preserve the ability to advertise while maintaining proportionality, even if it adds extra paperwork to delegations. My question would be, is that such a bad thing? And before you answer, thanks so much, Winter9822, for the Mariam Shengelia quote and the £5. And Eurotwink says thank you for these streams and sends us some New Zealand dollars. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. And happy Monday morning, by the way, over there. James, to my question, what do you think?
It depends, really. I mean, you have to, in order to go down that line of thinking, you've got to ask a question for me, which is, do you consider the Eurovision Song Contest to be of equal or greater importance to a national political election?
Of course not.
So then it becomes a question of, can you apply the same rules in the same way from a political arena to an entertainment arena? And I know that gets into the whole, well, Eurovision is a political thing, but and of course, like, it is and it isn't, and it's that dichotomy that we play around in. But it becomes, for me, a tricky slope when fundamentally the vast majority of actors within Eurovision, I believe, to be acting in good faith.
Yes,
there are
agreed.
examples, for sure, of actors in bad faith, but that is going to be true in every situation that requires marketing. That's going to be the same on reality singing competitions. That's going to be the same on Love Island, for goodness sake. You know, there are certain levels of proportion. Some people are willing or are able to spend more. That is a sort of an economic fact. And it would be very prescriptive, I think, to put a hard cap down and say, well, you can't spend over this because it would be unfair. I get where you're coming from. I really do. But I'm not sure how... I'm not sure whether Eurovision can take itself seriously enough to do that.
I think the difficulty is that, for me, and I think the place where it does cross over is that we pay for this event. Everyone watching here pays for this event in some way, because every broadcaster that participates has some element of public funding and control. That is the thread that binds the contest together. And ultimately, it's our broadcasters' contributions to the EBU that fund the EBU as an organisation.
Yes.
I believe there is a level of scrutiny of of accountability that is thorough but not overly onerous for the broadcasters, that you can do it without inflating the total amount. Like, all you're ultimately asking is for broadcasters, and you can provide them with a template to fill in, to keep track of a set of receipts for ad spend and a spreadsheet detailing how much they've spent. I don't think that, and then you publish that at the end in a time where we are losing faith in the integrity of the voting. It's just about finding ways to build that back again. And it's something that the EBU has struggled with, because for all we know, Martin Green might have seen conclusive evidence from the voting system of how these patterns are unfolding. We don't know.
We don't have access to that.
Obviously,
we
don't. And we're never going to have access to that, because there are certain things that understandably do stay closed off. Like, there is weight in the argument, for example, that you should never release raw vote data. I think you could release proportional vote data.
Like, as in percentage.
Yeah, you shouldn't release raw vote data, because it would make it very easy to point to target countries where there is unusually low voting volume.
Yeah, and create avenues.
Yeah, and therefore, that makes sense. At the same time, if you can release something that helps people understand the underlying trends better, I have always felt, ever since things kicked off and this became a big topic of conversation, that can only help the integrity of the competition. If you are so convinced in the fairness of it, then you should open every door you can to convince people of that. And I think that is a valid point of view, especially when we're talking about a public event and a public cultural institution. And I think those underlying factors are very important.
I'm going to go back to my 2 sessions of debate society knowledge for this one. Right, I have 3 counters to you, which I think are all very valid. Number 1, broadcasters have a responsibility to the taxpayers in their country. The EBU does not. The EBU's responsibility is to those broadcasters. That is a very different relationship. I know we talk about it in the same way because the EBU represents public service media, but it's not public service media in and of itself, because it is a representation of public service media. That's a key thing to make sure of. The second thing I will say is that if you are a taxpayer of your broadcaster, particularly for the BBC with the licence fee, if you're a licence fee payer, how you actually give your opinion on your tax money spent is very, very simple. Do you watch the programmes or don't you? Because fundamentally, that is what drives spending. When 15 million people watch The Traitors, taxpayers are saying, I like the value I'm getting from this. More of this, please. 2 celebrity traitors a year. More Alan Carr, please. That's what they're after. If ITV puts out The Neighbourhood, which is a show with Graham Norton that has flopped so hard after 2 weeks they've had to move it out of prime time because they're losing viewers on it compared to running a repeat, well then that is taxpayers saying, or commercial fee payers for
giving
ITV,
a clear message.
that's a clear message. You are able to vote with your feet in the same way as anything else. And the third thing I want to say, I've totally lost. But I feel like the 2 points that I had, 2 sessions of debate society, I missed out remembering my points.
Yeah, now someone in chat, I will say, Lowe's on top. First ever message in chat, hello, says, it's crazy that this is being said about a song contest. I think ultimately...
Yeah, it is, actually.
And again, lots of this would be much less relevant if it weren't for the fact that I think for the first time in a while, we have a country that is attempting and succeeding to break the system, in breaking the system. I think that is why we're talking about this now. And quite frankly, if Israel wasn't in this competition, totally different discussion. And including around the ads as well. I think we'll be looking at the ads and probably still talking about it. But I think this adds another dimension to it because it's existential for the contest and because there is this fundamental principle of integrity and of fairness that Eurovision has always struggled with but has managed to maintain. It has managed to keep these tensions and these big spikes and diaspora effects and everything under control enough that at its core, people believed, at least on some level, that points were being awarded on merit. Overall, in the grand scheme of things. Because once that link is broken, a fundamental pillar of the contest is eroded. It's very difficult to rebuild, firstly, without doing something drastic. Secondly, it will reduce the viewership. People enjoy the results. People want them to feel legitimate. If they don't...
They will vote with their feet.
They will vote with their feet. This is a really interesting conversation. I am conscious that we do want to have a quick look over everything again before we tick away for this evening. So I think we are going to move forward. What I will say is, stay in tune this week. We're going to be keeping an eye on all of this. I don't think we've seen the end in terms of all of these things happening. There's going to be... there will be arguments this week. This is going to be a live issue because it's been a live issue, you know, on a very high level since December,
Yes.
and obviously for the past
And the
few years.
EBU clearly want to make it more of an issue as well.
They chose this.
One thing I'd love to say, though, before we do move away from this topic is, specifically on the Israel situation and the fact that the EBU have come out and said this. The thing is, to play devil's advocate, Khan now have essentially played their hand with the campaign, and now they can't use the videos, and that's fine. But what you know they're going to do is come out and say, they told us we couldn't advertise. We need to galvanise our support. And when they put out the next campaign, which I'm sure will follow the new rules, because they have been warned now, it will be linked to the previous campaign. And that thinking will still be there. And so effectively, the message has already been gotten out.
Yeah.
That is something we have to watch for.
Yeah, I am curious to see what's going to happen. I mean, I still feel very firm in my belief that I cannot see any way that Israel wins this competition, because I think even if the juries were to evaluate it positively to excess, it would not reach the point with the juries where any victory overall would be possible, in my opinion. However, I think this is something that we need to work on and keep looking at. I think we'll have more discussions about this week. We're going to see plenty more of you. There's others. We'll talk about it probably on the Sunday after the contest is done when we do our post-mortem as well.
Yes.
Let's turn back to where we are now. Thank you so much, Ruth, who says, I cannot watch today, but I'll be hearing this tomorrow during my work alongside the hum of the sewing machine. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your support.
So I could never do sewing. That is genuinely an incredible talent. I view that. I cannot sew for shit. Well done.
I did once when I was in school, as we had a class which they did. You know how you had the sort of home economics?
Yeah, home economics.
Where you did that, they teach you to sew stuff or put buttons on clothes or cook and things. I don't know how this. I feel like this might be a very British thing.
Yeah,
I did it in school, but not since. Lee says, I'm literally suing.
Cristiano Ronaldo, thank you for joining us in the chat. It's nice to see you.
So, I'm sewing. I'm literally sewing right now.
Thank you, Gabe.
Let's talk about Eurovision.
Oh, like we haven't been for the last 3 hours.
Yeah, well. So, where were we? Somebody's talking in Greek. Thank you so much for being here, but please, we can only moderate in English. What have I done now?
I feel like you've just given them an avenue, but it's fine. Don't use the avenue.
Anyway, let's take another look at the semi-finals again. I think the easiest way would be to, rather than having the page with the rehearsal clips, let's again have a little look at sentiment-wise from this perspective. We'll start with semi-1. Essentially, I'm looking for more of a kind of risks and opportunities kind of thing here. I mean, we've seen some changes. Poland is up to 9th, actually, and Montenegro is now the country that is on the bubble in the eyes of the odds. Is there anything that you're suspecting we might see tomorrow in the jury show that will shift this dramatically? What things are you looking out for? Obviously, anyone could have a particularly good or a particularly bad day, but is there any dramatic shifts that you could be maybe expecting?
What arrangement of Viva Moldova do they use? That's the first big question.
They have about 7 options.
Let's see which one that is. If it's maybe back to the things we've been more used to, that may help them. What are the singers in Lelek running to? Because that's been the big tease, hasn't it, from their clip that got a lot of attention. I'm fascinated to see what that is going to be. Ferto. What is the rest of that? That's a huge question. That really is the biggest open debate in terms of the staging, in terms of the big contenders in this one. How does Lithuania go in the room? How does that feel? What's the energy like? You could say that for Portugal as well. You know, that's another kind of quieter, tender number. You need a bit more effort potentially to get the crowd going. Let's see what happens there. Have other songs made improvements? Has Boy George woken up?
Is he singing in time? Because I saw a video of him at the San Marino party, which we did not go to, from yesterday, where he couldn't even sing his one line in time.
So again, open question. We're going to see how that goes. And then if you look ahead to Tuesday, the biggest thing I think is there is more and more evidence that voters in the semi-finals are much more aware of what we're looking at right now. They're aware of the songs that are favourites. Maybe they're watching the model here, or they're hearing about the odds, or the papers are talking about it that they read. And
it's the most informed Eurovision electorate we've ever had.
And they're only getting more informed, right?
Yeah.
So what you are going to see is the biggest level of tactical voting that we've seen at semi-finals. Those songs there on that bubble, people in Montenegro fans know now they've got to come out to bat for Tamara because that's on the bubble.
Yes.
If you're a fan of Bandidos do Canto, you have got to come out because it's marginal, right? Your vote could really make a difference. If you vote for Leakin Hayton, yeah, that's great, but that's almost a certainty, right? I mean, nothing is certain, but 97% you think that's pretty close.
And that means, by the way, that those songs in the lower part where we think they're particularly weak with the televote, I mean, I'm thinking Portugal, Poland, Belgium, where we're expecting difficulty with the televote. The flip side of that is Monday turns into a kind of make or break for them, where they have to deliver not just to, that was good, because to be honest, if we look at this list, certainly the top 7, all they have to do is do fine. They do fine, they go through, that's it. Below that, you kind of have to have your best night on Monday night, because you cannot legislate for the public going for you enough, even with that effect, in my opinion, to push you over the line.
And this is why I like juries being back in the semis, because, ladies and gentlemen, straight down the camera, every night of Eurovision week matters again.
That is
every
a really nice feeling.
Matters now.
I missed this.
On Monday night is vital for Lionsecker, for Alicia, for Bandidos do Canto, for Vanilla Ninja, for Asila. That night is huge, because the difference from if you put in your best performance, if you reach a level that we have not yet seen, and we see that on the Monday night, that matters colossally more than it ever has. Yeah. Well, not ever has. We've had juries before in the semis,
in the recent era, though.
In the recent era, of course. I mean, if you've come into the contest, well, since this boy's been YouTubing, this is new. But this every night is going to matter, and on Tuesday as well, people will be aware of the Monday. And that creates a more cumulative effect, because now if you're hearing, my favourite maybe didn't have a great jury performance, I've got to make sure I give that points. I've got to make sure that I get the vote out. I've got to get my phone out. That's great for the EBU engagement-wise, so that's why juries are also a good thing to bring back on that level. And it means that the fight to qualify will evolve in a more interesting way, will evolve in a different way, and we will see a different kind of result. If you look at the model results I've put out, they are on ESCInsight now. You can go and read them. You can get the full points of the semi-finals. You will see that we have put this tactical voting into the system. You can see how that looks right now.
Why don't we show people right now?
Oh, do we not get to show some people?
Yeah, I can get ESCInsight up. I'm going to show you where you can find all of this. Look at this beautiful website with all of its excellent
content,
insightful articles. Genuinely, it's one of the very best. If we look at semi-final 1, for example, you can see like some of these effects here. I'm guessing is some of this. Okay, people are starting to get savvy that they might need to vote for Montenegro. Poor Estonia's dead in the water.
Maybe not.
But
maybe
I guess
not.
does that account for why you're getting these big drop-offs at the top?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I explain it because with these pieces, I do a bit of writing and I try and explain why some of the numbers might be moving based on what I understand, at least, about the way Eurovision works. And what you see from this, obviously, I am trying to approximate a tactical voting that has not yet happened, so I may not be exactly right, don't get me wrong. Everything is guesswork when you do modelling.
Yeah.
But when you see all the green on the right side, you see the effect. You are seeing the rise, particularly on Poland, for example. Poland, I think maybe people were thinking, maybe, but I'm not so sure. Now it's very clear there's a possibility. And, you know, the Polish diaspora has always been heavily motivated to vote. They will feel the motivation now, particularly if they back the entry. And it's the same if you are in the Belgian camp. If you're in the Montenegrin camp especially, I mean, it's 11 years since they've been in a final. The last time they were in a final, we were all here.
Yeah, it was in this very city 11 years ago. And if we go to semi-final 2, which is down here, are we seeing some of the same effects? Maybe if you could point to some of the where should we be looking for where the songs that you think might be affected by this?
I think in terms of the drops, I mean, you're looking at Denmark and Australia, and that's not because the songs have become worse. They haven't. It is because we can all be pretty confident at this stage, barring something, you know, unprecedented in modern Eurovision, that Denmark and Australia will be in the final. So if you're a fan of those songs, I mean, Denmark is my personal favourite this year, but if I'm voting, I'm thinking, well, you know, is my vote going to be best suited to Denmark? They're going to make it no problem. My vote doesn't necessarily change that dial. If I love Switzerland, my vote could change the dial. If I love Jonas Love, that could change the dial. If I love Atvara, who I should point out, the only green patch there, that's a bit of belief. If you are a fan of that song, go and vote for it, because that's where you make the difference. People are realising this more now. We're seeing this more. And I think as we move through Eurovisions to come, you'll see it. You'll just continue to see it increase.
Yeah. We must have a moment of silence for poor Jiva the Diva, who has 3 points. Moment over. Let's move on.
Bussy.
So... Yes, indeed. If you haven't yet seen Jiva the Diva saying Bussy at the opening ceremony, I suggest that's something that you look up afterwards. Don't Google Bussy. Check like ESC Discord or something. Check somewhere where you know you're not going to get an unpleasant surprise. And then if we look to semi-final 2, and I think the odds reflect here the fact that things are getting... It's actually weird for me because... The bookmakers are a lot more confident about the outcome of this than everyone else is. In particular, this one seems mad. I mean, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but I find it astonishing, the odds that are being offered on Cyprus to qualify. There is no way, unless there's a dramatic improvement, that Cyprus comes 5th in the semi or gets anywhere near this position.
Do you want a 101 on how betting odds work?
Yes.
Very quickly.
Yes.
So we, as people who try to predict Eurovision, are pricing probability. So we're looking at our own opinion and think, okay, what's the likelihood of this against my opinion on this? And you kind of create a mental approximation of what that is. A bookmaker is not interested in whether it happens. It's interested in whether it's going to be caught out by something happening. They are pricing the risk of them being wrong. We are pricing the reward of being right.
Okay.
And so what you see is these bookmakers here have Cyprus ordered 80% qualification chance. The bookmakers know that if Antigone turns it on and the vocal is much better, well, then the song's a bit of a banger, right?
Yeah,
if
and
the
then it
vocal comes
qualifies,
out,
and then they don't lose very much money.
and they won't lose very much money. It's why they're offering very short odds. You're not going to get a great return on that if you're going to go there. But if you see on the Wednesday DR1, people come out of there and going, the vocal's still not great, then they're going to go, okay, maybe there's a chance of this happening, so we're going to lower down.
We'll make the odds more enticing so more people want to bet on it because we think we're going to keep that money.
Exactly this. So that's kind of like a little guide into how the odds work. The odds are not probability. The odds are a calculation of risk of them losing to you.
That's a really good way to think about it, actually. I really like that. Obviously, the big difference here is these odds seem and to be honest, I am more confident in Mr. Jonas Censored Love, Jonas Fickman. Do you reckon he tried to? He pulled out. Yeah, he pulled out the outfit that Erica had last year, and they were like, "No, we've been through this." And much less confident on poor Veronica than we were. So if you look to these in this middle zone, because I guess obviously with Jiva, they're convinced she's not qualifying, so they'll give you ridiculous odds. With these in the middle, this for me feels like it represents quite a high level of risk. Then, surely to price songs like these, which have very realistic chances of qualifying at 2-1, because money will pour into those, and then they could lose a whole bunch. Or am I just maybe missing the whole point of this?
No, not necessarily. I mean, fundamentally as well, you have to kind of consider all of this in the round, because there are 15 potential outcomes. 10 of them are going to be right. So that's already, depending on how you look at it, that gives the control to the bookmaker side, because they're thinking, okay, we have a lot of options to play with. It's more unlikely when you have 10 options that weird things will happen.
Yeah.
You know, the bookmakers are sometimes wrong, and they're always going to be a bit wrong because it's never perfect, but they're very rarely big wrong because they don't want to lose money. You know, I know we did a football analogy earlier, but remember when Leicester won the Premier League?
And they gave odds of 5,000 to 1.
Because it was so ridiculous. They just couldn't believe it would happen. Of course, some people who had either divine knowledge or miraculous belief earned a lot of money. You know, they're thinking, for Azerbaijan, for example, well, that's not going to happen. We'll take someone for a ride on this because we're just going to get their stake. No problem. But obviously, the shorter your odds are, which is obviously the better, that is them saying, well, this could happen a bit more. We don't want to get caught out as much. Yeah, okay, we'll let someone double their money. We'll keep the bet going. We still want the stake, of course. That's what they're making their money on.
Yeah.
But we don't want to get caught out too much if we're wrong.
Right. I'm conscious of the time. So before we go, I think there is just time for one last little reflection. And I'm going to ask you a very simple question. I'm going to ask you to name up to 3 rehearsal clips that you were most excited by, or songs that you were most excited to see this week.
Across the whole lineup?
Yeah.
Ooh. I'll go off the clips. Croatia.
Croatia.
It was a great clip. I think what you saw there was a really good sense of camera work, great cuts, really good choices, a clear sense of storytelling, which is what I always really, really look for. Are you telling the story visually? Because otherwise, what's the point? And obviously, they're having this big tease for something coming. Right. Really excited to see that tomorrow. What is that? We'll find out. Romania, I probably think would have to be in the 3 because of just how eye-popping those visuals look. You know, sometimes it is as simple as just looking hella good on camera. I think that's going to be a great example of that. And in terms of the winning conversation, I think you would have to say Finland because, I mean, just think about this. About 4:00 tomorrow, I am going to hear Linda Lampenius play the violin. Not on a backtrack. We are going to hear it. And that I will be interested in what the response is like, knowing it's live against when you all knew it was on backtrack.
I think I'm going to agree with 2 of yours, Finland and Romania. Finland, you took the words right out of my mouth with the live violin. I think that is a massive wildcard kind of factor now, which throws in all kinds of uncertainties in a very exciting way. Obviously, self-declared favourite of the year. You know, so of course I'm going to be excited for it. Romania, a lot of the same feelings as you. It has this real momentum now, and it has this sort of, you know, it felt so captivating. I really want to know what they're doing with that hooded figure who appeared briefly in the clip.
Yeah, I still have questions about that, but like when you see the way the concept's been going, I'm inclined to believe there's thought behind it.
Yeah, I think there is. My impression is very much what there is. I had a brief conversation with some members of the delegation before in the press centre, and I'm excited, and we'll talk to Alexandra about that tomorrow. We'll see what she's prepared to reveal.
Divulge,
finally, I am going to keep faith in my excitement for Greece. I think when the first clip drops and people don't necessarily go with it straight away, we are very quick to judge. We are very quickly jumping to conclusions. Greece has a very powerful potential route to victory if it really delivers. And in 24 hours, we might be having a totally different conversation. And one of the biggest modifiers to that conversation right now will be if Greece shows up tomorrow and it's amazing. If that's the case, everything changes instantly.
Do you know what, Gabe? I could even narrow that down to a really specific moment, which is when we're watching on the Monday in dress rehearsal 1, where we're in the seats, when we're looking down at the stage. What happens at the moment when the chip tune breaks away and we enter the ballad? What happens at that moment? That is the key to that song.
Yes.
Are they going to subtitle it? Are they going to do something visually that gives that impression? Are they going to turn the lights down? Are they going to go like black and white? They have to do something that's really jarring because the music is jarring. That moment is almost a separate staging in itself.
Yes. And we've only seen one photo with some words on the back wall.
Okay, words on the back wall.
That's all we have. That's all the information we have right now. We don't know how they're going to do it. Yeah. And so it's exciting, but it's scary.
That could derail Greece, or it could make them. And I will say, if they nail that moment, this contest is not over.
Yes, indeed. Anders, thank you so much, who says he placed a €60 bet on Nemo in 2024 with odds of 18-1. That is excellent. That is absolutely...
That's great work there.
Good for you. Well done.
Not to glaze my own self too much, but we did get Nemo right in 2024 with the model.
With the model, yeah, when it was not the favourite to win. In fact, Croatia was an overwhelming favourite.
Got that one right. So anyone who believed it would have done well there. 2025 we didn't. Hopefully we have a positive record after this week.
Well, quite. Someone's asking 2 p.m. tomorrow, Europe or British time. So Cosmo's at 1. European time, so 12 UK time. Alexander Kapitanescu is at 2 p.m. here, 1 p.m. UK time. And by then, I can absolutely promise you that this phone is not going to be being used for that. With that, thank you all so much for your patience this evening. I know it's been, it was a little bit of a hectic one before, but we've actually managed to go 1 hour, 30 minutes without any lag. So well done us. I'm glad we made it work. Thanks to my fiance for saving me again. Honey, you do realise this means tomorrow when you go to the rehearsal, you're going to have to take my phone with you, and I'm going to have to keep yours here.
So I can text myself.
You will text yourself from me things that are happening in the rehearsal. So good luck with that. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to check out my website, escgabe.com. If you're interested in merch, if you'd like to support the channel, that's an amazing way to do it. You can get comfy t-shirts like this one. You can get hoodies. You can get hats like the ones behind me. You can't get that one. That one's not for sale. Like this. Isn't it nice? And it says insufficient reach, although the reach is now very much sufficient. Above all else, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are going to be streaming a lot more this week. Yeah, I'm saying that because you No, I'm just kidding.
You swap.
Love you very much, James. Thanks so much, James, for joining us. Make sure to check out all of his work over on ESCInsight. Make sure to check out the Croatia documentary, which is coming out tomorrow. You're going to be back on Tuesday.
Yes.
In the afternoon, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. For now, thank you all, and good night.
Sleep well.
I'm going to be back in
Well, you sleep
14 hours. I'll be back online.